Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our Hearthstone discussion. My name is Andrew. I'm here with Steve. Steve, how are you today?
I am excellent, Andrew. How are you?
Fantastic, as always. Now, I would like to start with a quick icebreaker, just to get the Hearthstone discussion juices going. What is the newest card that you picked up, and are you using it?
The newest card that I picked up. Ooh, that's a tough one. See, here's the thing. I hoard packs. I've gotten enough cards that I feel like I have tools to make competitive decks, and usually I don't see a card that I don't already have because I've been playing for over a year. So at this point, I've been doing arena runs over and over again, and just collecting packs every time I win one. Mm-hmm. And I'm up to 22 packs, and I've sort of made a pact with myself that I'm going to wait until either the announcement or the launch of the next expansion. I'm just going to see how many packs I get by then. And then all of those packs will be, either cards that I didn't have or lots of dust to craft the new stuff. So it's been a long time since I've actually opened a pack, so I don't actually know what the latest card I've gotten was. What about you?
Honestly, I don't know either. I'd have to think about it, because I'm one of those people who, like, at the beginning of Hearthstone, I went up to you and was like, oh, how should I play? And I think either you or Ozzy was like, pick 2 classes and screw the rest. So
yeah, exactly.
I've been getting a lot of cards recently that I've just not been using because they're not a Warlock or a Druid card. So I've just been disenchanting them.
You know what? Actually, the latest thing that I have gotten any cards from was League of Explorers, and that's like a very set cards. It's not like randomized like most packs.
Right.
So actually, I guess the most recent one that I've probably been using is I don't even remember the name of it, but there's a one mana 1/3 Trog that has been
the Shaman Trog.
Yeah. It's been sort of the foundation of this new aggro Shaman that's been popping up, and I still am not maining Shaman or anything. I don't love Shaman, and that's nothing against Shaman. I'm just not that good at it.
Right.
but that's a fun card to play around with because you break out this 1 mana thing, and then the second turn you break out that 2 mana 3/4 that overloads and it affects the Trog, and then you can do that again, and then you can break out the feral spirits, and it just snowballs to kind of an insane degree. It's a fun thing to play around with. My favorite sort of card that I've actually been regularly using isn't the most recent one. It's I have this Reno Rafam Paladin deck.
Okay.
Reno is fun for turning around a hunter match at the last minute, and Rafam is just like this crazy swinging card that I don't even know if it's good, but it's fun to be like, now I have a spell that does added 10/10 to a
Rafam
minion.
is the guy who gives you the legendary artifact, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's, I don't know if it's like great as a card, but it's a lot of fun to use. So
when it works, it feels great.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Reno, which I'm going to use that to transition to the main topic of this discussion. We're talking about resources in Hearthstone, and I want to talk about health as resource, which is a little confusing to people who aren't used to trading card games or just like card games in general, because normally in the back of your mind it's like, no, I want more health. Why would I use my health as resource? As someone who mains Warlock and someone who played a black-red deck in high school in Magic, I know a lot about health as resource. And it's
you just lost all of our Hearthstone listeners who were like, a black-red what? Yeah.
I wasn't good. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't good. It was a vampire deck. I was high school. I don't think I have to explain myself anymore. But basically, because it's health as resource is probably the easiest thing to describe and explain, because it's just using your health as a resource.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one of those things that I talked in the last session about, kind of just newbie mistakes as far as things that newcomers don't realize. Last session I talked about battle cries. Another thing is health as resource, because there's a temptation to be like, well, I have 28 health and he has 20 health, I'm winning. And it's like, well, not necessarily. There's a lot that goes into it. Board advantage and card advantage among them. So health is not everything, especially in a game that has huge swingy health restores like anti-healbot and Reno Jackson.
Which also is I have Reno Jackson in my my Warlock deck right now, so I have a lot of use of him and my health to gain the advantage, to gain card advantage over my opponent. I'm also a sick person because I also have the Youthful Brewmaster in my deck, which its battle cry is you return a card to your hand. And I try my hardest to like hold Reno and hold the Youthful Brewmaster at the same time, so I can Reno and then I can drop my Brewmaster and I get my Reno back.
Double Reno, yeah.
Yeah, which is miserable.
So you brought up the main class that sort of exemplifies health as a resource, Warlock. They've got the tap ability, obviously. The other thing, this doesn't play into card advantage, so we didn't mention it last time, but the other thing is a lot of Warlock cards hurt you.
Yes, they do.
In one way or another. There's the 1 mana 3/2 Flame Imp that
does 3 damage.
Damages you for 3, but you can basically count on you're going to get at least 3 on your opponent too. There's Pit Lord that does 5.
Yep.
There's
the Infernal that does 1 to everyone.
Yes, exactly. So there's a lot of things about the their board removal spell also hurts you.
Oh yeah, Hellfire.
Yeah. So Warlock has a lot of tools that just hurt you, and Warlock has to be kind of okay with it.
Yeah,
which is also why the Warlock Legendary is the thing that just kind of restores you back to 15 all of a sudden and makes you a new hero.
And also the other legendary Mal'Ganis, which makes you immune. So to try and help stave
so it's
off
all about
more damage.
It's all about playing with that, gaining a lot of power early and then stabilizing once things start to get kind of dire, which makes Warlock kind of like a tightrope. Like if somebody has a way of dealing with those tools, it's not good for you.
Oh yeah, if someone knows how to counter my Warlock deck, it's a miserable match. There's nothing I can do. It's just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna slowly die then, I guess.
Yes, exactly. The other way that health as a resource comes into play a lot is with weapons.
Yes.
A lot of people don't really think about this, but a lot of people, I feel like the temptation is, oh well, I don't want to hit this really powerful minion with my weapon because then it'll hurt me. I'll sacrifice a minion for it instead, and it's like, no, don't do that.
If you don't kill it, it's going to hurt you even more.
Yeah, I mean, you need to kill it, but if the choice is, I can kill it with my weapon or I can kill it by sacrificing 2 minions, like, of course, kill it with your weapon. Like, you need to hold on to the board because in cases like that and in cases like the Warlock, we're talking about health as a resource. In this case, it's very literally a resource for Warlock where, you could say a Flame Imp costs X mana plus X health. It's literally a resource in board game terms. It gets a little more vague when you go into weapons for things like Warrior, Druid, and Rogue, where they are so weapon based that it's easy for people to think they need to protect themselves, but it's their entire advantage. The way that they gain advantage is by taking the damage to themselves and letting their minions, roam free.
Exactly. So for people who want to do Warlock decks, and I guess Warriors decks as well, because there's a lot of damage and health resource management that you can do with them. And
like Warlock, Warrior deals with Warrior's hero ability deals with health as a resource, but in a different way. The armor up ability is basically a way of mitigating the damage that you're doing to yourself. So it's sort of interesting how it's these two very different approaches to the same kind of design problem.
Right. What would be your advice to people that want to utilize a Warrior or Warlock deck but are worried about using their health for a resource?
I'd say your best tool is being familiar with popular decks. One of the things that's very important if you're using health as a resource as something like Warlock or Warrior, where you're doing a lot of attacking and wearing yourself down, is knowing what your opponent's likely next play is. If you're playing against a paladin and he's played a few secrets, it's probably a secret paladin. And if it's turn 6, he's probably going to play his his mysterious champion. Being able to predict, being able to know the mana costs and know the minions well enough, and being able to predict what your opponent is probably about to do, is really your best tool. Because if you wear yourself down too quickly and you forget, like, oh wait, he's about to bring out Dr. Boom, and then I'm screwed. then you're going to be in some hot water.
Right. I feel like also, like, people need to understand, until you're down in the single digits, don't worry about your health. I mean, worry about your health, but like understand you're going to be losing your health. Don't be holding on to like 15 health as much as you can. Use it.
Depends. Like if you're facing against a face hunter and it's he's got a few cards in his hand and it's turn like 9. It's like okay, he's probably holding 2 kill commands by this point. Maybe I should worry about my health, but in most cases, you're right. You don't need to worry about. You don't need to worry about it until you hit like 9.
But at the same time, if you're going to be using health as a resource, understand you want to end this match really fast because you are burning the candle at both ends with that kind of strategy.
Yeah, I mean the only exception is the one that we referenced last time, which is Handlock, which they excel at prolonging a match. They excel at putting up big taunts and being like, okay, well try and outlast me. I've got these gigantic creatures and I've got endless buckets of them. And once you wear me down enough, I'm Jiraxis.
Right. I think that's all I have to say. The thing about health as resources is like this is what health as resource is, and that's all that you can really say about it. So, any final remarks on health?
I mean, you're right. It's a pretty basic concept. I think the point of having this as one of our lessons, I suppose, is to sort of. Emphasize to people like don't be shy about it.
Right.
Like that's kind of a hump that I think newcomers need to get over, and that I needed to for a very long time. So it just takes somebody telling you that, which is what happened.
This is what we're here for. So, Steve, thank you very much for chatting with me yet again. Folks, thanks for tuning in. And for more news and all of your gaming needs, be sure to head over to shacknews.com.